If you study historical survival long enough, you start noticing patterns that modern life has erased. Before central heating, insulation foam and electric blankets, families across Europe and North America followed strict winter living routines that were not optional but essential. These routines allowed entire households to survive months of freezing temperatures with limited fuel and constant scarcity. If you care about real-world survival knowledge rooted in history, make sure you subscribe to Battlefield of Survival and like this video, because this channel exists to preserve exactly this kind of hard-earned wisdom. Now let's get straight to it. Homes were compressed into heat zones to reduce energy loss. One of the most important winter routines was the seasonal shrinking of living space. Families deliberately abandoned most of their house once winter set in. Only 1 or 2 rooms were used daily, usually the kitchen or main living room where the hearth or stove was located. Doors were sealed with cloth, rugs or wooden panels, and unused rooms were left cold. This reduced the volume of air needing heat and conserved fuel. You can apply this today by closing off spare bedrooms, hallways, and large living spaces during winter nights, using heavy curtains or temporary insulation to keep heat where you actually live. You know, daily schedules revolved around heat, not the clock. Winter routines were structured around when heat was available. Mornings started later to conserve fuel, while evenings were spent close to the fire. Tasks requiring movement were done early to generate body heat, while sedentary work like sewing, repairing gear, or reading happened near the heat source. This rhythm minimized exposure and prevented heat loss. Modern households can mirror this by batching activities, doing physical tasks during colder hours, and reserving rest for warm zones, reducing dependence on constant heating. Layered clothing indoors was a survival standard. Wool-based layers, heavy trousers, thick skirts, shawls, and knitted socks were worn all day. Clothing functioned as mobile insulation, allowing people to move between cold and warm areas without shock. Bedding was layered the same way, with multiple blankets trapping air rather than relying on a single heavy cover. Today, wearing thermal layers indoors and using layered bedding can, drastically cut heating needs while maintaining comfort. Shared sleeping arrangements, conserve body heat. Privacy was really secondary to survival back then. Entire families often slept in the same room, sometimes even in the same bed, to retain body heat. Bed curtains, wooden box beds, or enclosed frames were used to trap warmth overnight. Even animals were sometimes housed nearby for a bit of extra heat. A modern application of this idea is shared sleeping spaces during extreme cold, paired with insulated bedding and draft control. This can, honestly, significantly improve overnight warmth without needing any additional energy use. Food preparation focused on warmth and efficiency. Winter meals were designed to warm the body and stretch fuel. Stews, porridges and slow-cooked foods stayed hot longer and could be reheated without restarting fires. Warm drinks were consumed regularly to maintain core temperature. These days, cooking one-pot meals and using insulated containers is a smart move. It keeps your food warm for much longer and at the same time helps cut down on energy use. This approach really supports good nutrition during those cold weather months. Winter routines were all about discipline, not convenience. They truly worked because folks actually followed them, day in and day out. Things like heat management, clothing discipline, sharing space and conserving fuel, well, those were just daily habits. They weren't emergency measures, but simply part of everyday life. Honestly, applying even just a part of this whole system in your life today can make winter a lot more manageable, especially if you ever face power outages or fuel shortages. So, if you value historical survival knowledge that still works in our modern winters, go ahead and subscribe to Battlefield of Survival, like this video, and share it with others who want practical, proven ways to beat the cold.